Let's take a look at a sample program using the PetDog class. So we'll have the petdog.java file in the source folder of the project, and also an MU panel in which we will declare PetDog objects, instantiate them with values that will be the initial value of the properties of the objects, and then use methods. Okay, so here's this PetDog class definition, and it was in 4 different parts in the PowerPoint presentation that the previous video. Okay, but inside a class definition, we have the properties, which always start with the keyword private, and then a data type, and then a name. The name of the object. Now, notice that NetBeans has the syntax highlighting, and so whenever you declare a property at the class level, that's inside the class body, but not inside a method, it highlights the name in green, and that's how you can tell that you're talking about one of the properties of the class. It's in green text. Okay, now after the properties, we have the constructor method. Notice that it's public, and then the same name as the class, and a comma-separated list of parameter declarations, which is a data type, a space, and then a local parameter name. And so then inside the constructor is simply a series of assignment statements that will store the property, store the parameter in the property. And notice that the properties have to be on the left-hand side. If you have them on the right-hand side, it won't work. And it's very important that the green things go on the left here. Okay. Next, we have the getter methods. And so you notice that each property, there are 4 properties, so I'll have 4 getter methods. Get name, get age, get breed, and get weight. They all have the same format, public, followed by the data type that's being returned, or the answer to the question, get whatever, and then an empty set of parentheses. Inside the curly braces, we're simply returning the property that was requested. Okay. Then we have the setter methods. And the setter methods all have the same format. Public void set whatever. But then you can't just say, hey, for a dog, hey, set your breed. Well, set it to what? So that's what this this thing inside the parentheses would be, a parameter which is going to be stored in the property inside the body of the setter, and the data types must match. So for name and breed, we have to have a string. For age and weight, we have to have an integer. Okay, and once again, the green thing goes on the left of the assignment statement here in the setter method. Okay, and then the toString method. This is an example from the PowerPoint. Okay, what we are doing is we are combining the properties of the object with actual text strings using this plus operator to tie them together. Something else that's interesting is you don't have to always have a semicolon at the end of every line in a Java program, at the end of every statement. So here's a statement using this plus signs that spans 3 physical lines in the file, but it's all one statement. The destination equals, and then this right-hand side would be evaluated, and the string would be put piece to piece, back to back. All right, so that's the PetDog class that we saw from the description. Now, how could we use this in a real program? Well, I have an MU panel here, and the MU panel, I'm going to be working with PetDog objects. So at the top of MU panel, I'm going to declare 3 PetDog objects: my dog, neighbor dog, and other dog. You can call them anything you wanted. Okay. In the constructor, I then instantiate the PetDog objects. So remember, when you declare it, it's private, and then the name, the data type or the class it comes from, and then the name. But when you instantiate, it's the other way around. It's name of object equals new class it comes from, and then in parentheses I have to give a special comma-separated list of values. And how do I know that it's a string and an integer and a string and an integer? Well, if I go look at my PetDog constructor, it's because I'm expecting a string first, an integer second, a string third, and an integer last. That's why I know whenever I instantiate an object that it's, at least a PetDog object, it's string, number, string, number. Okay. Also very important, when you're calling new, you don't put string, the word string here. Okay, you don't say string Fido or string name Fido. It's just the data. You only put the data in. If it's a string, you put it in quotes. If it's a number, you just use no quotes. So the neighbor dog, Fluffy, is 12 years old, is a toy poodle, weighs 7 pounds, and Beethoven is a St. Bernard, 5 years old, weighs 95 pounds. Okay, and then notice down here I have system out println, so the output's going to be in the output window, the Java console, and I have the actual string. Here are all the dogs. Then I skip a blank line, and now notice what I'm doing is the next 3 lines on separate lines. I'm going to print the results of the toString method for these particular objects. So the way you can think of the class definition, this is like a script that all pet dogs will follow. And if I ask a PetDog object, hey, execute your toString method, okay, the dog goes to the script and looks for toString, and it will follow these instructions to the letter. So, okay, make a temporary string called answer. Answer is whatever your name is a breed, whatever the breed is, that weighs, okay, so it's going to do that and then return that answer. So all 3 of these dog objects are going to be executing the same code, but the answer will be different because each one of them has a different value for its name property and its age property and its breed and its weight. Let's run this now. And you can see, I'll scroll this up a little bit. Oh, in the paint component, I said look in the Java console for output. That's why you get this look in the Java console for output. All right, so the Java console here is this, and notice it says here are all the dogs, and then a blank line. And now my dog.toString, what's the result of that? Fido is a golden retriever that weighs 45 pounds and is 9 years old. Okay, now why did it do that? Because it's the name of the dog, and then ISA, whatever the breed is, it looks internally to its properties, that weighs, okay, here's the weight number, and then LBs, and is some number of years old. And so the same calling toString with different objects causes the specific data for that object to be plugged into between the ISA and the that weighs and the LBs, understand? So Fluffy, toy poodle, weighs 7 pounds, 12 years old. Beethoven, St. Bernard, weighs 95 pounds and is 5 years old. Okay? Now, what about these other methods that are in the PetDog class here? For example, set name and get age and all that kind of thing. Okay? Well, let's see how we could use setters to work with that. So, oh shoot, I thought I copied it. I did copy it. Okay, so let's say Beethoven went on a diet. Okay, and so rather than me type this, I'm going to just paste it in. I want to go to MU panel. Okay, so after printing this, I'm going to say, all right, so after I print out the original thing for other dog, I'm going to say, I want to set the weight of the other dog to a new value. Okay, so setters are called on a line by themselves. Okay, so if I say other dog.setWeight 85, that's enough. It's just like a new statement, and other dog will change whatever the contents of the weight property were for that object are replaced by this new value coming in. Okay, so set weight 85 is WT. That'll be stored in the weight property for that particular dog object. The other dogs are unaffected. It's only for that particular object. Okay. Now here's a system out println. Take a look at this. After going on a diet, comma space, then I'm going to. I don't want to print the whole thing with the name and the breed and all that. I just want the name of the dog. So if I want to know what's the name of this dog object, I specify the object dot and then call the get name. And so that will, what does get name do? Get name returns the name property for whatever object we were talking about. Okay, so that'll be an actual dog name. Now weighs only, and then I get weight. So we'll see what the weight will be after I set it to LBs. Okay. So here's the output. Here are all the dogs. And so after going on a diet, other dog.getName, that's Beethoven, now weighs only 85 pounds. Because he was 95, he went on a diet, so he's only 85 pounds now. Okay, so you can, the toString always returns all the data with exactly in that same format. If you want a different format or you only want one or a couple of the properties, you can use getters to do that. All right, then let me close these guys. Another thing we might want to do is to, well, we can make a change. So let's take a look here at this code. Okay, now look at this instruction. What I want to do is I want to say in 1 year, my dog will age by 1. The age should go up by 1. Okay, well, what I can do is I can set the age of my dog to this expression inside the parentheses. Okay, so I can say, hey, my dog, what is your age? I can get the age of my dog. That's going to be a number, and I can add 1 to that number, and then that answer, that newly calculated thing, would be the new value I want for the age of my dog. So I'm setting my dog's age to its current age, or whatever age it had as the property, plus 1. And then I'm skipping a blank line with the system out println with nothing in there. After 1 year, here's the updated information about my dog. And I can say my dog.toString. It'll print out the same format that I used before in the previous output. So, okay. Let's move this up so we can see everything. Here are all the dogs. And notice that Fido, Golden Retriever, weighs 45 pounds and is 9 years old. But then I got the age, which was 9, plus 1 is 10. I set age to 10. Now, internally, my dog's age property is 10. So when I say my dog.toString, it'll use that most recent value of age. So after 1 year, here's the updated information about my dog. When I say my dog.toString, Fido's a Golden Retriever, weighs 45 pounds, but is 10 years old because I added 1 to its age. I set its age to 1 more than what it was before. Okay. So simple illustration of a class definition with properties, a constructor, getters, setters, and a toString. And then in the main program, declare the objects, instantiate them, and then you can call methods and use system out println to get output in the Java console.